Illustration rares are some of the best cards to ever be released in Pokemon, and in 2024, we received a ton of new ones. Today, we'll be taking a look at the top 10 most expensive illustration rare cards to be released in 2024, and you might even own some of these. I was not expecting for a lot of these cards to be on the list, but number 1 really surprised me. Drop your guesses down below in the comments to see if you can guess it. We will also be giving away the Surging Sparks ETB, so watch all the way through for details on how to enter. Starting off the list at number 10, we have ourselves Dusknoir coming from Shrouded Fable. Coming from one of the least favorite sets of 2024, this card currently holds a market value of 23.44 cents. It actually entered the market right around that same price for 23.58 and has slowly risen down in price and then went back up to its original price point. I do expect this card to go up in price within the next year, not so much, but just slightly rising up in value, since Shrouded Fable is one of those sets that isn't going to be reprinted or heavily reprinted as the rest of the sets in 2024 that are a lot more popular. I'm not a huge Dusknoir fan, but I feel like number 10 is a perfect spot for this card on our list. Up next, we have ourselves Surledge coming from one of the most recent sets, Surging Sparks. This card currently holds a market value of $22.75. As all cards do when the set first releases, it does start at a pretty high price point. This one, for example, started at right around $32. It dropped dramatically as the set was released, but since it is getting a lot tougher to find Surging Sparks, it is working its way up slowly. I don't see this card moving up dramatically in price within this upcoming year, since Surging Sparks is going to get reprinted and a lot more sets will come out, which will then drive this card to come down in price as more people go ahead and pull it. It's still the first Surledge card, so who knows. Moving on to number 8, we do have ourselves Houndoom, also coming from Shrouded Fable. The current market value for this card is $23.77. This card has been on a steady decline and incline for a while, but it actually hasn't moved much between $19 and $25, so I don't see it dramatically moving up in price within this upcoming year as well. Shrouded Fable actually has a couple cards on this list, which did surprise me, but after looking into it, it does make sense since the special illustration rares from Shrouded Fable weren't as popular. It did drive the price of the illustration rares up. A lot of these artworks are even better than the special illustration rares in my opinion. At number 7, we have another card coming from Shrouded Fable, being this Duskull card. The whole evolution line almost made it onto the top 10 most expensive for this set, but it fell short and only this one and the final evolution were part of our list. At $24.58, which is fairly close to the past couple cards as well, and it's actually had a very similar trend to the Houndoom card we just took a look at. I really like cards that play a story within one another, and this card right here is part of the 3-card artwork with the whole evolution line, so I feel like the price of these 3 cards will go up in price later on in the future, not within the next year as well, but maybe in years to come. This is something that a Duskull fan or Ghost fan might want in their collection. Almost halfway through, and at number 6, we have ourselves Persian. Persian is actually also the 5th most expensive card in Shrouded Fable, has a market value of $26.67. For a moment when the set had first released, I believe this card was actually the most expensive Pokemon card in the set. This is actually going to be our final Pokemon card from Shrouded Fable on the list, but I'm still surprised that a couple of the cards were even on here. If you are a Team Rocket fan or a Giovanni fan, this card might be the perfect card to add to your collection. You can see Persian taking a look at its reflection or just taking an overlook of the city inside Giovanni's penthouse. I am not personally a Persian fan, but it's still a beautiful card. At number 5, we have one of my personal favorites from the list, being Ghastly from Temporal Forces. This card right here currently goes for a market average of $29.88. Now this is actually one of the cards that I do feel like you should invest in, because maybe within a year or after a year or so, once this set is out of print, this card will skyrocket in cost. Not only do you have Ghastly featured on this card, but you actually have the whole evolution line including Haunter and Gengar as well. For any Gen 1 lovers or any Ghost type Pokemon lovers in general, this is going to be a great card to add to your collection. I currently do not own this card, but hoping to pull it soon, or I might just have to buy myself a copy before it goes back up in price. At number 4, we have another card from the most recent set, Surging Sparks, being Latios. This card right here currently has a market value of $35.86. It was actually pretty high up in the 50s when the set first released, which is expected of course, and has slowly worked its way right back down. I feel like this card is still going to go a little bit down in value, probably right around that $25 to $30 mark, and then it'll work its way back up after the Scarlet and Violet era has come to an end. Latios is actually one of my favorite legendary Pokemon, and I feel like this card right here is even deserving of a special illustration rare, but we still got it in an illustration rare card, which means better chances of pulling the card. We have officially reached our top 3, and at number 3 we have ourselves Bulbasaur coming from Stellar Crown. This is actually also the 3rd most expensive card in the set, which is surprising since it is just an illustration rare. The most expensive card in that set being the Tarapa Ghost Special Illustration Rare, which makes sense of course. This card currently has a market value of $45.38, had a huge drop in price when the set first released, but has slowly been working its way back up. As we take a closer look at this card, just want to let you know, if you are enjoying the video, make sure to drop a like, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well, and make sure to drop a comment down below. Those are also the steps in order to enter our monthly giveaway for the Surging Sparks ETB, and the winner will be announced in the first video that's uploaded in January. Our question of the video is, do you own any of these cards within the top 10 list? Make sure to let me know down below. But I really do like this card since there's a lot of greenery right around the Pokemon with plants, since it is a plant-like Pokemon. On to number 2. At number 2, we have ourselves the other card coming from Stellar Crown, being Squirtle. Squirtle is also the 2nd most expensive card within Stellar Crown and currently holds a market value of $56.10. This card is slowly working its way back up as well. I feel like it might take a slow dip since it is a pretty high price for an illustration rare, but it is going to overall over time work its way up, just like the Bulbasaur card. I don't ever see the Bulbasaur card surpassing the Squirtle illustration rare, since Squirtle is one of the more favorite Gen 1 starters, along with Charmander of course. I really like the artwork on this card, and it's pretty obvious why it's number 2 as the most expensive cards. With Squirtle, you do have the Pidgeys surrounding it as well. Looks like I used some type of water attack on the Pidgeys, or just splash some water on them. Just like in the Bulbasaur card, there were Pidgeys on there as well. And there actually is a 3rd card that completes the set, being Charmander, which was part of a promo card in the Obsidian Flames ETB. This is another card I currently don't own, but would love to add to my collection. The most expensive illustration rare of 2024 is going to be this Eevee card coming from Twilight Masquerade. I had completely forgot about this card, but it makes sense why it's number 1. Eevee is one of the most popular Pokemon of all time, and this card currently holds a market value of $63.46. This card is currently at its all-time high when it comes to price, and I feel like it's gonna probably stay right around that $60 to $70 mark within this upcoming year, then work its way back up post Scarlet and Violet era. With this Eevee card, there actually is 8 Eevees on this card, 1 for each Eevee evolution, and I would love to see this card recreated with all the evolutions in the same location, or a different location for the artwork. This being the number 1 most expensive card when it comes to illustration rares for 2024 is actually quite fitting, because it works us right into 2025, where we do have ourselves the new set coming out called Prismatic Evolutions, revolving right around the Eevee evolutions. I currently don't have a favorite evolution, but if you do have one, make sure to drop it down below in the comments, as I do read every single comment and I want to see what the percentage looks like. That is going to bring us to the end of the video, and if you are enjoying the content, make sure to check out one of these 2 videos right here. If you really enjoyed this one and want to see us recreate it with special illustration rares, make sure to drop a like. That's it from us today, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.